Hi, my name is Stephen White, and for my presentation, I will be doing Wired for Wellness Digital Age of Elder Care. Basically, just digging into the advancements of technology and how they can help with late adulthood. Alright, so what is late adulthood? Late adulthood is the 65-year-old plus community. So it's basically that last stage of life. The population is actually growing, which not many people know. It is expected to make up 20% of the entire U.S. population by the year 2030, so only 5 years away. And the main problem with this stage of life is dealing with cognitive and physical conditions, whether you deal with Alzheimer's and dementia, Parkinson's, or something on the physical side where it could be arthritis or just frail bones. I mean, for example, in my life, my grandmother recently, she just turned 80, and she had to have a hip surgery done in the past year. She's still dealing with that to this day, still feels stiffness. It can just be anything to the point of waking up and not feeling fluid and like it's hard to move around. The main thing that people do seem to think about the 65 plus community is that they are all retired, which is not the case. Even in the United States, 65 is usually that retirement age for most jobs and careers. However, 22% of the people in late adulthood are still actively in the workforce. This can be due to whether they weren't working as high paying of a job, so they still need the money, didn't have good pension to go into retirement, or if they just need the expenses to make payments, whether it's medical bills or mortgages or anything like that. Personally, in my family, my father is 66, turned 67 this year. For him, he was able to retire at the age of 50, but then recently at 65, he actually got back into working just to keep busy. So it really just kind of depends on the situation for whoever is in that position. There is a multitude of ways to care for the elderly depending on their personal situation. So in the United States, we are more known for letting our elderly live on their own or separately, or putting them into an assisted care facility. Whereas in other countries, which we will talk about in a few slides, they're more known for multi-generational living, where you'll have grandmothers, their kids, then their grandkids, possibly even 4 generations having great-grandkids, all under one roof to care for each other. It's just a little easier for them, less expenses paid too. And then different countries obviously have different views of their elders, just like they have different views on basically everything in life. For example, over in Asian countries like Japan and China, they view their elders in a much higher fashion than maybe we do anymore over in America. They will look at their elders as the wise, the know-all be-all of the community. They can go to them with any sort of question. Whereas now I feel like in America they kind of go away from that, and it's more the kids think that the older people don't know as much because they're not as in tune with this new generation of living and technology and everything. Anyways, moving on to the evolution of technology for people that are in that late adulthood stage. So I went ahead, 65 years ago is 1960, so I picked the first major technological advance to start this timeline for them, which was 1969, the moon landing, which was one of the most significant things to happen in technology ever for America. But with it being 1969, it's the first big memory if they were born in 1960 or before. For example, my dad was 11 years old when it happened. He still talks about it to this day. He can tell me everything, what he remembers about that day. Then 11 years later, we have the eradication of smallpox, which is the first huge medical advancement of technology, where they were completely able to wipe out a disease. And this was through advancements of just vaccinations and trials and being able to completely destroy the disease, where we don't see it as much or at all anymore today. 11 years later after that, we have 1991 when the internet is created. This is obviously a huge thing because we're still using the internet to this day. We're using it for this class, we're using it for school on the daily, for entertainment. I mean, throughout the day, it's always being used. And then in 2005, we're getting more into like our timeline, but I think this is just, it's why it's a little harder for them to understand everything, because then we have YouTube being created. YouTube is used for, we can post our presentations on there. You can use it for learning or for just entertainment. I know, at least like from personal view, again, I'm going to go back to an example. My dad looks at YouTube to just figure out how to do stuff around the house. Like if he needs help fixing something, he's just going to go to YouTube, not call a professional. Kind of stubborn like that. In 2007, then, we have the iPhone is released, which is the first major smartphone coming out. And to this day, older people still aren't going to accept it. Like, my grandfather he just has his flip phone. He refuses to go smartphone. My grandma, though, she has a smartphone, and I think it's good for them because it allows for the ability to FaceTime and call more often. Even if they're not in the house, they can still get a call from their grandkids, their kids, still have interaction with the family. Then we have 2021, where artificial intelligence becomes mainstream. I feel like this is a big thing now. With AI, you hear something new about it, I feel like every other day. It's everywhere now, too. People can use ChatGPT. They can use, what's the one that Elon has? It's Grok on Twitter, or X, sorry. So it's just basically everywhere you see, and the advancements are getting even crazier. That this timeline that I found on ourworldinddata.com from Max Roser basically says that in the future we're going to have human-like AI operating. Now, that we can talk about technology's role in American care today. So America as a country, like I said earlier, allowed their elderly to either live on their own or in an assisted facility. Other countries usually have those multiple generations living under one roof and just caring for each other, not letting anybody else outside do it. But therefore, in America, our technology has advanced to a point where it can help elderly people go about their daily lives and in a safe manner, as well as help them manage their health conditions. So if they have problems like dementia, Alzheimer's, or have physical problems, they can have technology helping them get out of bed or get down the stairs. I think we've all seen those little seats that can go down the side of the stairs. That's simple technology that helps elderly people live about their day without having to completely relocate. But the toughest part of quote-unquote mixing technology with the elderly is the fact that they struggle with new age items and smart devices. However, another personal example, just to kind of put it in perspective, I've learned that the younger members of late adulthood, like my dad, have started to learn more about and appreciate the importance of this technology when it comes to health. Because I go home, my dad's sending me stuff that he's finding online about, because I have ulcerative colitis, so he's sending me stuff about new research for new medication that they just discovered through some sort of technology. Or he hurt his shoulder recently and he had to go through physical therapy, and he's telling me and showing me videos of all these new machines that they're doing on his shoulder and helping him get movement and rotation. It's all cool stuff to see him like buying in to the technology and going along with it. One example I did find from a research article that is kind of like the older population being scared by the technology is from a piece called Implementation of Digital Health Technologies for Older Adults, a scoping review. It was where healthcare robots were being used to care for sick patients and just kind of assist with the healthcare professionals. Well, the patients seem to not really have as happy of a view on these robots as maybe the healthcare professionals did, because the residents found that they were the professionals found that they were very safe and reliable and efficient, but the residents just didn't like the idea of not having that human-to-human contact and having to trust a robot, essentially, to help them with their daily needs. Another example that we can go with is cardiovascular disease being the number one killer in America. With new technology, there's many things that can help prevent or track or assist in curing or fixing any sort of cardiovascular disease to extend someone's life. Something as simple as like all the new Apple Watches or Fitbits that you can put on and it can be used as a heart rate monitor, or just check blood pressure throughout the day. Make sure it's not getting too high. Make sure that they're not hitting that hypertension level. It also allows for pacemakers to be put into somebody to shock their heart back if there's any arrhythmias. And then also it allows for greater precision just in surgery in total. Like if somebody's going in for open heart surgery, some sort of technology like a robot or anything like that can kind of go in and assist the surgeon to have a steadier hand and get into a place that may be riskier to get to with a human hand. Obviously, still not to the point of just allowing robots to do the surgery themselves. They're man-operated, and it's a little easier to be precise with them. And then when it comes to something as apparent as Alzheimer's, smart technology like Alexas or Google Home or anything like that, some in-home device can be used to help just be a reminder throughout the day to either take medication or to not miss a doctor's appointment or to exercise or anything like that. It's just something simple that somebody with Alzheimer's can easily forget due to their condition, and then this can come in and help them completely get everything done for the day. Excuse me. Another article that I looked at, titled Technology Usability for People Living with Dementia, stated in their conclusion, disease progression requires adapting to evolving symptoms. The main purpose of this research was to examine the usability of technology in the environment of somebody suffering from dementia. And so they had, I believe it was 58 participants that they all had dementia, all were suffering from dementia, and all had some sort of technology assistance within the house to see if that would help them. The technology revealed to be very helpful as it could be personalized to individuals. It had age-sensitive design and had audio support. Though research did show that 40% of the individuals needed assistance and time to actually learn how to use the devices, which is expected because of their age and no familiarity with the products. The technology being used was still learnable tech that was very effective in the end about them going about their regular day. If they needed any assistance, they can it's listening, so you can talk out, ask a question, ask for help if you're forgetting something because you have this neurological disease that is messing with your brain. Alright, so in conclusion, people get older, but technology will continue to advance, could even help extend lifetimes as I stated at the very beginning. And by the year 2030, late adulthood is expected to make up 20% of the U.S. population. Everyone may not like it, but like I said, they should accept it because it's just the way in which we are advancing in life and evolving. We're going to be using technology. It's going to be a part of our everyday lives for as far as I can think. Technology will continue to improve the life of people in the late adulthood stage of life. They just need to accept it. It's going to happen. Thank you for listening. Here are my sources.